Stoicism, one of the most enduring philosophies of all time, offers profound wisdom for navigating the complexities of life, particularly in the realm of control. One of its central teachings revolves around the idea of distinguishing between what we can control and what we cannot. This concept is a powerful tool for mental clarity, inner peace, and resilience. But how often do we get caught up in the things we can't control, allowing them to dictate our emotions, decisions, and sense of well-being? Have you ever found yourself stressing over something that you couldn't change? Perhaps it was a difficult situation at work or an argument with a loved one that seemed to linger, no matter how much you tried to fix it. Maybe you've fretted about external circumstances, such as the weather or the global economy, both of which are far beyond your influence. The truth is, much of the frustration, anxiety, and stress we experience stems from focusing on things outside our control. The Stoics firmly believed that by focusing solely on what is within our control, we can liberate ourselves from the overwhelming influence of external events. In a world that often feels chaotic, unpredictable, and beyond our grasp, this philosophy offers a crucial perspective, one that empowers us to reclaim agency over our lives. Marcus Aurelius, a prominent Stoic philosopher and Roman emperor, encapsulates this principle in his Meditations, saying, "You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength." This statement, though simple, holds profound wisdom, revealing a truth that can dramatically transform the way we navigate life. At the heart of Stoic thought is the understanding that while we cannot control the external world, the events that happen to us or the actions of others, we always retain control over how we choose to respond. Our mind, our attitude, our beliefs, and our actions are ours to shape. The Stoics recognized that it is not the external circumstances that define us, but how we interpret and react to those circumstances. This realization frees us from being ruled by the unpredictability of life. It gives us the strength to face difficulties with clarity, grace, and resilience. Consider the countless external factors that can feel overwhelming in our lives. Traffic jams, bad weather, someone's harsh words, an unexpected financial setback, or a global crisis. These are things beyond our direct control, and yet, how often do we find ourselves frustrated, anxious, or even angry because of them? How much energy do we waste trying to change or control things that simply cannot be changed? The Stoics encourage us to recognize this futility and instead turn our attention inward, where our true power lies. Marcus Aurelius, in his Meditations, often reflects on the idea that external events are like waves crashing against the shore, unavoidable and uncontrollable. But the shore, the steady, unshaken part, is our mind. Just as the shore remains unmoved by the waves, so too can we remain steadfast and calm amidst life's tempests when we focus on controlling our thoughts and actions. This does not mean we ignore the reality of external events or deny their impact on us. It means that we take responsibility for how we allow those events to shape us. For example, if you receive negative feedback at work, you cannot control the fact that someone has criticized your performance. However, you do have control over how you respond. You can choose to take the feedback constructively, viewing it as an opportunity to grow and improve, or you can react defensively, allowing your pride to take over. The choice is yours. In this way, your power lies not in the event itself, but in your response to it. By training yourself to focus on your internal responses, you begin to develop resilience, self-discipline, and a sense of inner peace that remains untouched by the volatility of the world around you. This mindset shift is liberating. Imagine the relief of realizing that you don't have to control everything, that it's not your responsibility to manage the actions of others, or to ensure that every external factor aligns with your desires. Instead, you can focus on controlling what truly matters: your thoughts, your values, and your actions. You can choose to live in accordance with your highest principles, regardless of what is happening around you. The Stoics believe that by cultivating an inner life that is rooted in wisdom, virtue, and emotional resilience, we are less likely to be thrown off course by the inevitable challenges life brings. They understood that external events, while sometimes painful or difficult, do not have the power to define our happiness unless we allow them to. Through consistent practice of this principle, we can develop the mental strength to face adversity with courage, acceptance, and a clear sense of purpose. In every moment, we are confronted with the opportunity to exercise this power. When we face setbacks or challenges, the question we must ask ourselves is, what can I control in this situation? It's not always easy to stay focused on what is within our power, but the more we practice this mindset, the more natural it becomes. In times of stress, frustration, or anger, we can pause and remember that our true strength lies not in changing the uncontrollable world around us, but in mastering our response to it. As Marcus Aurelius continues to remind himself in his meditations, external events are often beyond our reach, but our reactions are always within our grasp. By acknowledging this, we tap into a wellspring of inner strength that allows us to remain steady, no matter what storms may arise. This wisdom enables us to move through life with greater clarity and peace, knowing that we always have the power to choose our thoughts, our attitudes, and our actions, regardless of the circumstances that surround us. But what exactly can we control and what is beyond our grasp? The Stoics broke it down into two categories: internal and external factors, our thoughts, actions, and reactions. At the heart of Stoic philosophy is the idea that we control our own thoughts and actions. Our reactions, our attitudes, and the way we interpret the world around us are all within our sphere of influence. This means we have the power to shape our emotional responses, cultivate virtues like patience and resilience, and decide how we engage with others. Have you ever had a challenging day, perhaps facing difficult people or frustrating situations, but found that by shifting your mindset, you were able to remain calm and composed? This is the essence of Stoicism at work, recognizing that while we can't control other people's actions, we can control how we respond to them. Consider the example of a colleague who constantly criticizes your work. It's natural to feel hurt, frustrated, or defensive. However, by practicing Stoicism, you can remind yourself that while you cannot control their behavior, you can control how you react. You can choose to stay calm, to listen, and to respond thoughtfully, rather than reacting impulsively or taking offense. You can also choose to evaluate the criticism objectively, deciding whether it holds value and what, if anything, can be learned from it. The Stoics believed that this kind of emotional mastery was essential for personal growth. They saw virtue, living in alignment with wisdom, courage, justice, and temperance, as the highest good. The more we focus on refining our inner character, the more resilient we become in the face of life's challenges. We don't need to control others or the external world to find peace. Instead, we can cultivate the strength to navigate life's ups and downs with grace, wisdom, and dignity. Real-life situations are full of opportunities to practice this. Have you ever been in a traffic jam, watching time tick away as you sit frustrated in the car? You can't control the traffic, but you can control how you spend that time. Instead of allowing stress to build, you could use the time to practice mindfulness, reflect on your goals, or even listen to an educational podcast. You have the power to transform what might seem like an uncontrollable situation into an opportunity for growth and self-improvement. What we cannot control: external events and other people's actions. On the flip side, there are countless factors in life that are completely beyond our control. These include the actions of others, the natural world, and even the broader societal or global events that affect us. No matter how much we may wish otherwise, we cannot control how others behave, how the weather turns, or the course of events in the stock market. Have you ever been in a situation where you felt powerless, watching as things unfolded in ways you had no say in? Maybe it was the sudden loss of a job, the unexpected illness of a loved one, or a global crisis that disrupted your life. In such moments, it's easy to feel helpless, anxious, and overwhelmed by circumstances. The Stoics teach us, however, that while these things may be beyond our control, we do have control over how we approach them. Imagine you've been passed over for a promotion at work. You can't control the decision, nor can you change the factors that led to it. But you can control your response. You can choose to take the experience as an opportunity to reflect on how you can improve, develop new skills, or even explore new career paths. Rather than allowing frustration or resentment to take root, you can focus on what's within your power, your growth, and your future. The Stoics would remind us that our peace of mind comes not from trying to control the uncontrollable, but from accepting that some things are simply beyond our reach. In his Enchiridion, Epictetus states, "It's not what happens to you, but how you react to it that matters." This is the key to resilience. By acknowledging the things we cannot change and redirecting our energy to the things we can control, we free ourselves from the constant tug-of-war with external forces. The power of perspective, turning what you can't control into fuel for growth. A critical component of the Stoic approach is the idea of perspective. While we can't control everything that happens to us, we can control how we interpret it. In times of hardship, the Stoics encouraged the practice of reframing, seeing challenges as opportunities for growth, rather than insurmountable obstacles. Have you ever experienced a setback, only to later realize it was exactly what you needed to pivot towards something better? For instance, losing a job might initially feel like a crisis, but it could lead you to a new career or a fresh passion that you would have never discovered otherwise. The Stoics believed that every event, no matter how unpleasant, contains the seed of a lesson. In his work Meditations, Marcus Aurelius regularly reminds himself that hardships are part of the natural order, and that they should be embraced rather than resisted. He writes, "The impediment to action advances action. What stands in the way becomes the way." This mindset doesn't deny the reality of suffering or struggle. Rather, it encourages us to transform them into stepping stones for progress. Imagine a situation where you failed at something important. Perhaps you didn't get the promotion or your business venture didn't succeed. The temptation might be to focus on your perceived inadequacy or to blame external factors for the failure. But the Stoic approach invites you to shift your perspective. Instead of seeing failure as a defeat, view it as a necessary part of the learning process. Ask yourself, what can I learn from this? How can I adapt and move forward? Each failure, in this light, becomes not a mark of shame, but a powerful tool for self-improvement. Practical Stoicism in everyday life. The Stoic wisdom of controlling what we can and accepting what we cannot is not just abstract philosophy. It's a practical guide for living a more peaceful and meaningful life. The key is mindfulness, becoming aware of where your energy is being directed and whether it is spent on things that are within your control. Have you ever noticed how often we waste time on things we can't change? Whether it's worrying about the weather on the day of an important event or stressing over the opinions of people who will never be satisfied. The Stoic practice encourages us to shift our focus to the present moment, where we have the most power. By putting our energy into actions that reflect our values, we ensure that we are living with integrity and purpose. Consider this. When you encounter a difficult person, do you find yourself stewing in frustration over their behavior? Or do you choose to control your own response and maintain your peace of mind? When things go wrong, do you focus on the external factors? Or do you look inward, asking yourself what you can learn from the situation? In both scenarios, the Stoic mindset is clear. Focus on what you can control and let go of what you cannot. Conclusion: living with purpose and resilience. Ultimately, Stoicism teaches us that the key to a peaceful, resilient, and fulfilled life is learning to master the distinction between what we can control and what we cannot. By focusing our efforts on refining our character, making intentional choices, and accepting the things beyond our influence, we free ourselves from unnecessary stress and frustration. Instead of being swept away by the uncontrollable forces of life, we become the steady captain of our own ship, navigating with wisdom, purpose, and clarity. So, next time you're faced with a challenge, ask yourself, is this something I can control? If yes, focus on what action you can take. If not, acknowledge the truth of the situation and shift your attention to how you can adapt, grow, or respond. This simple practice, grounded in Stoic wisdom, can help you live with greater peace, purpose, and resilience every day.